Hey, you busy? Mm-mm. Okay, let me run something past you real quick. I'm gonna step out and say it because I'm bold enough to. I believe that we live in a goal oriented society. Yeah, I don't think that we really live amongst people who are lazy in the sense that there's so many goals. People are on a high of trying to break generational curses. They're trying to accumulate generational wealth. They are trying to climb the career ladder like never before, or they're trying to climb down the career ladder and start entrepreneurship in places and spaces that are new to maybe their bloodline or their friends and family, but they just feel called to do something different. There is an awareness of financial literacy. There is an awareness of the food and what's happening and wanting to eat a little healthier. There is an awareness on mental health and emotional health and all these other things. And I think that that is beautiful. I think that it is beautiful that people are no longer deciding to stay on the conveyor belt of earth and whatever happens just happens. And when it's your time to fall off of the conveyor belt and be with the Lord, it's just like, oh, okay, great. With no intentionality, with no awareness of yourself, of things around you. I think that it is beautiful that people are starting to wake up. However, comma, I still believe that there is a sense of we're not really getting it in totality. And so, where is this coming from? The way that I work, I'm not really a TV watcher. Yeah, it's not really my thing. I think that there is an increase in junk TV, and that's not my specified way to release or to be entertained. It's just not. Most of the time, if I'm sitting down to watch something, it's because I can pull something from it. And I'm the kind of grandbaby that it can be a game show, and I'm like, yo, I just got something from that. It's just the way that I'm wired and the way that God designed me to see things. My perspective is always, I'm going to pull something from this. And so, with that said, my husband and I were watching a documentary on football players. Specifically, this one was on quarterbacks and uniquely titled, it's called Quarterbacks. And it was pretty much following quarterbacks to show what happens on the field and off the field. And so the three football players, if I'm recalling offhand, I know that one was definitely Patrick Mahomes. The other was Kirk Cousins. And then the other was, he used to be a former Falcons. It was Marcus Mariota. If his first name's not right, that's his name now, okay? But the last name was definitely Mariota. And it was just showing where they were at in that current season that they were recording and all the other different things. And I never have been a football fanatic in any aspect. I'm from New York. So in my household, we were big on basketball. So I knew about the basketball. I knew a little bit about baseball. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't really into football, but, God would have his way that I would marry a man who likes football as well. So for me, it doesn't matter the sport. I naturally like things that I can cheer for people on. So I'll watch track, I'll watch swimming, like anything that lets me be like, come on, let's go for that particular person or team, sign me up. I'll learn the rules and regulations later. You understand? Like you teach me fumble and interception at a later time. Right now, I'm just excited that he got to the other side of the field. That's how I work. But I could not deny, dang, it's a lot of work to be a quarterback. The quarterback has to memorize plays. So when they go in the huddle and they're calling out ice cream cones, strawberries, left field, scrambled eggs, to the left. Like, you have to know that. You have to be able to go to the head coach and go, okay, scrambled eggs, to the left, unicorn, south side. Okay, cool. Go in the huddle, tell them that, and y'all supposed to know what that means? I was literally watching what they were doing off the court. They are memorizing plays. Not only are they memorizing plays, they're watching tape of previous games that they played, the games that they're going to be playing for, say, another team. They're watching the other team to see how they play. So they're like, oh, okay, y'all tend to do this and y'all tend to do that. And your frontline men are weak, so we're going to go ahead and attack that. So you're doing that. You also have to work out to keep your body in shape. You also have a trainer that's telling you what you should and should not be eating. You also and I'm like, what is going on? That's a lot. Not only that, every single game is a different play. So you literally have to call plays differently mid-game. So it's not like, oh, okay, a dance routine. You go in there, you learn your little 5, 6, 7, 8, boom, tat, boom, boom, tat, 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 nail it, perfect it, go out there and do what we memorize and perfect it, and then you're done. No, it's like a dance battle. And if somebody pull out something that you wasn't expecting, you got to have enough in your arsenal to be able to be like, I got something to combat that. I have something to go ahead and rise to that occasion because I've been practicing off field just in case you try to throw me off when we were performing. And there's something in that. And I was like, wait a minute. I was seeing literally people hire certain people to do things. So they're having people come to the home to massage them. They're having people come into the home to make sure that certain things were loosened up and this, that, and the third. They taping up things and they're doing. And I'm like, does it take all that? And you know what I heard lovingly from God? Yes, if you know your mission. And I said, wait a minute now, see, you know that I'm big. I'm big body for the kingdom. I don't play that. You can't just throw something on me like that and keep rolling, God. Like you're going to have to come back. I'm not Moses. Had I been on the side of the mountain and I saw the half of your back, I would have peeked a little. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm glad that I wasn't up there because I would have been like, oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to see that side. God, we're here now. Okay. We're here. You understand? And so I went up to actually look up. I wanted to see because that word kept doing something. It was like, it's landing on a spot that feels like I should be paying attention to that. And so I went and looked up, what's the true meaning of mission? And according to dictionary.com or dictionarycambridge.org rather than the grandbabies thereof, listen to this definition. It says the action of sending someone to a place to do a particular job, especially one for a government or religious organization, or the job the person has been sent to do. God couldn't have talked to me any louder. I'm going to read it again. The action of sending someone to a place to do a particular job, especially one for a government or religious organization, or the job the person has been sent to do. My question to you is, do you understand your true mission? Do you understand that you were sent to this particular timeline, to this specific, whatever the part of the country, the world that God sent you to that particular family, to that particular bloodline, to that particular job, to that particular friend, for that particular child, do you understand that you were sent? I don't think a lot of us are really living a life that we know that we were sent. None of this is happenstance. Martin Luther King Jr. was supposed to be born then. Harriet Tubman was supposed to be born then. Your birth literally is strategic. God saw something in the timeline. God saw a problem rising up. God saw what he created you to do and was like, go get him. And you're supposed to be a soldier for the kingdom. You are sent. You are God's soldier. He's like, yo, you know what? I see the enemy going around looking for whatever. Have you tried my servant Job? That's my soldier. Have you tried him? And we read Job like, God, why you offer him up like that? He's like, yo, the devil tried to king me or tried to king himself. The devil tried to go ahead and do a checkmate. No, I was like, you're not winning this one. I got Job. You're not winning this one. I got her. You're not winning this one. I got him. And we sitting like, no, don't choose me. He's like, no, but you a soldier for me. I sent you there That job is not supposed to be the same when I send you. That family is not supposed to be the same when I sent you. I put David in that bloodline to change it because nobody else was going to. His brothers wasn't doing nothing in Saul's army. So I had to make sure that the king comes from David's lineage. That Jesus comes from David's lineage. Because everybody else before David, or his other siblings, y'all too scared for the mission. Y'all sitting over there letting Goliath taunt you for days in and days out, and you're in the army of Saul. Surprise, surprise. That's ridiculous. So you know what? I need somebody with some heart. I need somebody who's after my own heart. I need somebody who's a shepherd. I need somebody who's going to look over sheep the way that I do. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take the shepherd boy named David, who nobody's really paying attention to, and I'm going to have Samuel anoint him with oil and then have it that he becomes King David. It's a certain kind of thing that you have to understand, that if God is sending you somewhere, if God is sending you to that place, if everybody else don't see it, trust me, God sent you there. How do you know? Why are you going through all the things that you're going through if you wasn't sent to do it? Like, really ask yourself that. Out of all the places God could have allowed you to be, and let's stop there. If God allowed it, it's a part of the mission. Let's stop taking this posture of, oh, why is this happening to me? Or, you know what, this is just so inconvenient. Or, I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, sometimes, all the amenities are not going to be there, but that doesn't free you of the mission. So the first thing we should be asking ourselves is, what's the mission? And you need to be asking that with God. Spoiler alert. Because for somebody say, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. For somebody say, I know the plans that I have for you, plans for a future and a hope, not for this. If somebody's literally saying that to you and left a book for you to read and say, listen, meditate on this thing day and night. That's how you're going to succeed. Foundation in Proverbs, foundation of wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And so if you have all of this information that's saying, hey, I need you to come back to me so I can tell you why I sent you there. Otherwise, guess what's happening? You go into that job day in and day out and you're burnt out. You're going back to that family and you're like, oh, I just can't wait until. You're going back to that particular side of the earth, side of the country, side of the whatever, and you're dreading every single day. You're withering inside. You're wondering why you're not satisfied. You're wondering why you get a little progress, but it feels like it didn't really fill the holes in your soul, and you're trying to figure out, what is this? And instead of trying to figure out ways to, fill the hole temporarily or make yourself feel better for the moment, why don't you just go back to God and say, I realize now that I'm not going to be fulfilled until I fulfill my mission. I'm not going to be fulfilled until I satisfy why you sent me in the first place. So let me go back to God and ask you, what's the mission? Watching the quarterbacks and seeing that they're very clear. The mission is to win as many games as possible to eventually get to the Super Bowl, to go ahead and gain it for that season and do it again. So once you have the mission in place, you like, okay, cool. Now, what are all the things that I need to do to sustain me to get there? Buddy is like, I need to memorize these particular plays. I want to get out here, coach, run a play. And I'm like, what's that one? Wait, what? Ain't no wait, what? When you got big men running in your direction with helmet and padded things on. You need to know it. Okay? You need to have a good memory. If that ain't your wheelhouse, you better have somebody speaking in your ear or doing something. You're going to have a tutor. I don't know what you need, but you need to do it, okay? Watching these people have personal massage people, having their own gym, having their own personal trainer, having even a chef. And sometimes you could look at it like, does it take all that? Is it supporting the mission? What's the other alternative? To eat junky and the body be run down? And these people see that you're an easy target, and that leads to you having the body not respond to healing the way that it needs to respond. So you out a particular set of games, and now that puts the mission in jeopardy because you can't win without a strong quarterback. The quarterback literally carries the team. They make the decisions and they co-partner with the head coach. They see when somebody's not playing well, or when somebody is playing well, or if it's time to take somebody else out of the game. Did you know that they have plays specified around a particular player? If such and such comes in, they're like, all right, so such and such really likes Pokemon. So what we're going to go with, we made a whole play just on them. So Pokemon, and everybody knows, oh, this means that when we run the ball, we're going to actually make sure that we run circles and then throw it to the dude because, and how'd y'all come up with Pokemon? Oh, because everybody on the team knows that he loves Pokemon. So that's our code word for number 18. It is so much involved in that. And so I said, would people be living differently if they understood their mission? Yes. Would people be taking care of themselves differently if they understood the mission? Yes. Would people feel better from day to day if they knew their mission? Yes. And I'll be transparent. I was starting to feel exactly what I told you a few moments ago. Burnt out. Feeling like days were just looking like, oh, I might as well just go ahead and start putting lines on the wall and counting down. This is ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? And then I had the loving reminder. What's your mission? And I had to literally take a book, sit with God, and write. And for me, I'm visual, right? So what I felt led was, I want you to write down your previous jobs and then tell me what the mission was for that. And so I was able to go back at least a couple of, I pulled up at least 3 to 4 other jobs. Mind your business, that's between me and the Lord. Ain't no job hopping, but whatever. So wrote down one job and I was like, oh, I can clearly see. I was able to connect why I prayed for that particular job, why God allowed it, and the mission that it filled. And as I started writing, I was like, that makes sense. I needed childcare, or I needed to not have childcare in that season. So I needed to be home more. So I needed this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 and this, that. So I prayed for that. And then God gave me that. And then ironically, once the mission was completed, it was like time to go. And I was like, that's interesting. God is only allowing certain things to be in my life because I'm thinking, oh, I got the job. No, you got the thing that fulfills the mission for this season of your life. And then when that season of my life was no longer, and I was trying to bring winter into summers, I was uncomfortable, meaning it was time to go. And so as I started writing down the next job and the next opportunity, and maybe even some friends, I was like, oh, I know exactly why I had to meet you in that time frame and why I can't talk to you now. Like, it all started making sense. And so then I was like, all right, time out. I asked myself the brave question, what's your mission now? And I was like, oh, easy, wrote 3 to 4 things and confirmed it with God. And then it was like, okay, so if that's your mission, how are you aligning yourself to the mission? How are you taking care of yourself? Because what I realized immediately, I cannot run the play and fulfill this mission on the battery that I have right now. I can't. Currently, in this season of my life, the woman body is doing something that is like, oh, I don't know if this is peri. I don't know if this is mental. I don't know if it's perimental. But all I know is that it's a pause on the end of those, and I need help. I don't know what's going on, but I know that I need a different kind of care package. And God was like, so put it together. Put together a care package so you can run the play. Put together the thing that and I'm like, and I just started I'm talking about hype. I don't know if you can feel it, but I was like, okay, let's go. He was like, number one, the fact that you feel that way all the time, you need to go see someone. And so I was like, okay, is that a massage therapist? And I felt led, go see a chiropractor. Let me tell you something. I do not play or put a delay when God tells me something. I was looking at some of the people that when God says something, what was their response time? And I was like, I'm not delaying. He told Abraham, go sacrifice your son. The Bible says the next morning he went ahead and did. He told Gideon, I need you to go ahead and tear down all the Asher poles and the idol things in your father's house. The Bible says he waited till night to do it so that nobody would try to kill him. He told Joshua, I need you to go ahead and do A, B, and C. That boy called the meeting, was like, yo, tell everybody in 3 days, get their provisions because we're going. There is something about understanding that when God says something, you do not delay. So when I heard go see a chiropractor, I picked up my phone immediately and got an appointment that afternoon. And lo and behold, you would be, God knows what he's talking about. Because when I listed off to this woman all the things that I was feeling, she was like, oh, your spine is not, it needs to be adjusted. And I'm going to take the x-rays to see blah, blah, blah. But I'm talking about, and I'm getting ready to give you TMI, but because we're a non-gossiping conversation, okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I was telling her all the things. I said, listen, I'm getting an increase in migraines. I don't know what's that about. Okay. I'm getting an increase in neck pain. It seems to be a thing going on with me and my digestive system where she's constipated. And everything that I said, she was able to point back to, oh, that's this part of your spine. This controls that. And when this is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and she said, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take x-rays today, and then we're going to go over your films another day. This was literally yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and take the x-ray. We'll go over the films another day when it comes back. And then, but what I would do today is I'm going to give you some mild adjustments because I can already, from what you're seeing, I want to give you some relief. Let me tell you something. That woman did a little snack, crackle, and pop. And I feel amazing. She said the root of most migraines is curvature in the neck, in the spine. And she brought up her little spine thing. I wanted to take it home, but that's between me and the Lord. She brought out her little spine thing, and she's like, oh, okay, it's twisted this way. And when she laid me on the table, she was like, so this right here? I was like, She snapped it, and I said, I'm talking about my hero. Ma'am, where have you been? Twin, where have you been? Nobody makes me feel she was getting ready to get the whole track because that was amazing to me. And I said, had I not sat with God and was like, what's my mission? I don't know how to run the play. I don't know what play to come up with. So here I am now writing with God. Like, okay, he said, you need a chiropractor. I said, heard you. He said, also go to your female doctor and tell her, check your levels because something's going on with the hormones and you don't know what's happening. And so you need to go ahead and figure out some natural herbal ways, but you need to first see what's going on so you know how to attack that. I said, heard you. He said, also, he gave me like 3 to 4 different things to do. And at the end, I felt so satisfied. And I heard, go run the play. And I said, God, you already know how I get. Please don't get me hyped. I'm hyped. Are you kidding me? Let's go. Let's go. He sent you to go run the play. Come on and run the play. Come on and get the championship for the kingdom. Come on and get this touchdown real quick. Come on. And I said, you know what? That's why God felt like that when he was talking to Elijah. When I'm reading the Bible, the way that I'm wired, I can oftentimes feel the emotion in the words. Like as the picture is being painted, as I'm reading the story, it's almost like I can feel the like, oh, and I'm going to be honest with you. When I heard God speaking to Elijah in 1 Kings 19, I felt God's sadness. And it did not truly make sense to me. I kind of had an idea, but it made more sense to me now than ever because I was like, yo, when you really be looking at us, like God really be looking at us like you're the answer. Like when the whistle blows and he calls you up to go out and run the play, he knows this one is equipped to get what I told them to get the touchdown, to run the play, to whatever it is. But this one right here pointing to you, you're the answer. And so when this situation happened with Elijah, I was like, I get it, God. I get it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to read because Elisha, okay? 1 Kings 19. I'm going to give you a little bit of backdrop. Eli was in these streets doing big things for the kingdom. He was out here with the ops, the prophets of Baal, and it was like 450 of them. And he's like, listen, it could just be me. Okay. He called down fire from heaven. It killed them. And so when Jezebel, okay, the head prophet over there with the Baal and all that, heard about that, she was like, tell Eli that when I see him, okay, it's on sight. So we're going to just pick up from verse 1. So 1 Kings 19, I read from the NLT version, verse 1. When Ahab got home, he told Jezebel everything Elijah had done, including the way he had killed all the prophets of Baal. 2. So Jezebel sent this message to Elijah. May the God strike me and even kill me, rebuke that, if by this time tomorrow I have not killed you, just as you killed them. 3. Elijah was afraid and fled for his life. He went to Beersheba, a town in Judah, and he left his servant there. 4. Then he went on alone into the wilderness, traveling all day. He sat down under a solitary broom tree and prayed that he might die. I have had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life, rebuke that. For I am no better than my ancestors who have already died. 5. Then he lay down and slept under the broom tree. But as he was sleeping, an angel touched him and told him, get up and eat. 6. He looked around, and there beside his head was some bread baked on hot stones and a jar of water. So he ate and drank and lay down again. 7. Then the angel of the Lord came again and touched him and said, get up and eat some more, or the journey ahead will be too much for you. 8. So he got up and ate and drank, and the food gave him enough strength to travel 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Sinai, the mountain of God. 9. There he came to a cave where he spent the night. Pause. Prior, when I read this before, I was always like, man, Elijah he knew how to go ahead and do things for God. He knew how to be miraculous for God, but he did not know how to feed himself. Because there's no way that you run and you don't got no food. You ain't packed nothing. You ain't do nothing. That shows that he was running off of adrenaline. He was running off of fear. He was fueled by emotion. But then here's that emotion that I was telling you about God. Let's continue. But the Lord said to him, what are you doing here, Elijah? 10. Elijah replied, I have zealously served the Lord God Almighty. But the people of Israel have broken their covenant with you, torn down your altars, and killed every one of your prophets. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. Repeat that. 11. Go out and stand before me on the mountain, the Lord told him. And as Elijah stood there, the Lord passed by, and a mighty windstorm hit the mountain. It was such a terrible blast that the rocks were torn loose, but the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. 12. And after the earthquake, there was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, there was the sound of a gentle whisper. 13. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his cloak and went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. And a voice said, what are you doing here, Elijah? 14. He replied again, I have zealously served the Lord God Almighty, but the people of Israel have broken their covenant with you, torn down your altars, and killed every one of your prophets. I am the only one left, and now they are trying to kill me too. Repeat that. 15. Then the Lord told him, go back the same way you came, and travel to the wilderness of Damascus. When you arrive there, anoint Hazael to be king of Aram. 16. Then anoint Jeru, grandson of Nimshi, to be the king of Israel. And anoint Elisha, son of Shaphat, from the town of Abel Maholah, to replace you as my prophet. 17. Anyone who escapes Hazael will be killed by Jeru, and those who escape Jehu will be killed by Elisha. Pause. The next verse, I'm going to skip to 19, says, so Elijah went and found Elisha. Pause. Did you not hear God's heart? What are you doing here, Elijah? And because that first question didn't get his attention, God went out of his way to try to shake Elijah from the grip that Jezebel had on him. God was like, I'm going to send earthquakes. I'm going to send a fire. He was trying to show him if her words can scare you enough to almost let you bury yourself in a cave, then I should be able to say something. I should be able to do something to shake the fact to make you realize you're misplaced. What are you doing in the cave? And the whole purpose of me sending you, the whole mission, was for you to be one of my big body prophets. What are you doing here? There's nobody around you. There's no prophets. There's nothing for you to do here that would bring forth the kingdom. And the whole entire purpose is to bring God's kingdom on earth. Do on earth as it is in heaven, is what it says. So when you look around, Elijah, what are you doing here? This is not the battlefield. I don't see no prophets of Baal. There's no one here for you to go ahead and have them repent and turn from their wicked ways and start to believe and trust God. And as a matter of fact, what is happening? So I know what's happening in you. But I need to see if I can ask you this question so that you can look around you and see I'm misplaced. I'm misplaced for the mission. God didn't send me here to be scared in no cave. God didn't send me on this mission for me to just be in the back of a cave talking about I might as well just go. So the question now, it weighs differently for me. What are you doing here, Elijah? He didn't say, what are you doing? He didn't say, how did you get here? He said, what are you doing here? What are you doing here, Elijah? Cousin Elijah's not supposed to be here, and Elijah's not supposed to be running from fear, and Elijah was not the one that just did all those things to the prophet of Baal in the other chapters beforehand, because in Elijah, he rings bells, because Elijah, he was doing great things for the Lord, because Elijah, so if I remind you of your name, I need you to look around and see, does it align for where you are? The question remains, what are you doing here, Elijah? What are you doing here? Fill in the blank with your name. No. I didn't send you to that job for you to be having burnout. I didn't send you on a mission for you to now be so consumed with that job that now it's starting to do wear and tear in your body. Listen, he was okay with you being in the cave. Maybe you needed to just, go ahead and talk to your coach real quick. Say, hey, I need my ankle looked at. I need my heart looked at. I need my soul looked at real quick. Hold on. Being in this battlefield, he expects that you're going to have some things that need to be tinkered with, some things that need to be healed. But you're supposed to go back to him and say, listen, I'm starting to get weary. Listen, why you think he didn't get penalized from running? You think God would have had an angel come down and feed him if he was going to penalize him? No, God was like, okay, listen, you've never been here before. Cool. Let me send an angel to cater to you. Go ahead and eat this real quick. Drink some of this water. And then when he did enough, the angel was like, no, you did what you thought. You didn't do enough. Whoa. So the angel in verse 7, it says, then the angel of the Lord came again and touched him and said, get up and eat some more, or the journey ahead will be too much for you. So what does that mean to me? That means that God is not penalizing you from being human. He's not penalizing you for saying, bro, I need a break. Something needs to change. I don't know if I could do this much longer like this. And that's the thing. Sometimes we don't finish that sentence. We say, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Or we say, I can't do this. But we need to finish the statement in this way. I don't know how much longer I can do this in this way. I don't know how much more I can take in this way. Meaning how you currently are operating, how you currently are eating, how you currently are sleeping, how you currently are fill in the blank. You can't continue to do that and run the play and succeed in the mission. So God wasn't penalizing him for realizing, oh yeah, he's come to the end of his rope. Cool. Now go back to God to be refilled. Cool. Go back to God to be refueled so that you know, oh, okay, this is what I need to do. So God fed him. God gave him the water through the angel. Let him go ahead and get some sleep. Because who knows that you may have been so engulfed in doing the things of God that you ain't take care of the body that God gave you to do it in. But God doesn't punish us for being human. The real question and the weight of the question was, so what you doing here? Yeah, we already satisfied the hunger. So we got the fuel back. We hydrated you with some water. So you shouldn't still feel the same. And I let you sleep so that whatever needs to be normal, whatever was abnormal, can go ahead and turn back to being normal. Yeah, God is your manufacturer default. He knows what things need to go ahead and be updated or whatever. And sometimes that's often done by proper sleeping patterns. So now that I went ahead and gave you your oil change, sir, why you still parked like there's no oil and no gas in this car? Why? What are you doing here? The problem has been resolved. How do I know? Because you were running, because this woman said, by this time tomorrow. But wait a minute. But when I read what the angel said to you, in verse 8, it says, so he got up, talking about Elijah, and ate and drank, and the food gave him enough strength to travel 40 days and 40 nights to Mount Sinai, the mountain of God. That woman said, what? She said, by this time tomorrow in verse 2. But then you had enough strength and enough everything for 40 days. So guess what? You've ran 39 more days plus than what Shorty said she was going to go ahead and do and catch you. So I guess the site wasn't really on site. I guess you've surpassed that. So now that we've surpassed the time frame that Jezebel says she's going to put hands on you with no prayer, now that we've gone ahead and refueled your body, now you don't have an excuse anymore. What are you doing here? What are you doing here, Elijah? And he couldn't answer that because he was stuck on where he was, not realizing that God updated him so he didn't need to be there anymore. So once God saw, man, yeah, that mindset, there's no words. There wasn't no natural disaster, earthquake, rocks, fire, gentle whisper, nothing. So he shown, yeah, he was stuck in the bruise. He was stuck in the bruise of what what Jezebel said. So he was like, okay, Elijah, go ahead and anoint Elisha to replace you. And even hearing that, I want to believe that if God felt like him hearing you're about to be replaced would have shook him like, whoa, wait. Sorry. I think God would have still allowed him to continue. But the fact that he was cool with being replaced means that he was broken beyond repair. So my question to you is, what care package, care plan do you need to put together to run the play? How do you know you even need a care package or a care plan? Because you're starting to feel it. You feeling it in your emotions. You're a little bit more irritable than usual. You're starting to feel it in your body. Your sleep is not really hitting for. You don't feel refreshed when you wake up. Food is kind of like, it's not refueling you the way that it used to. So what's the care plan? Go put together a care plan with God. And say, God, if you were able to send an angel to feed Elijah efficiently, and then tell him how to sleep. That's probably the best sleep he's ever gotten. If you sent an angel to make sure that Elisha was cared for, can you go ahead and make sure that I have the care plan for my mission? Because I don't want to be somewhere where you're looking at me like, that's not why I sent you. No, I had a particular goal for you at this job. I had a particular goal for you in this apartment. But instead of you running the play and completing the mission, you got stuck in the emotion. And now the mission is incomplete. And God is so serious about his mission. God is so serious about his kingdom being fulfilled and established on earth that it don't end with you. He will replace you. With all respect, it can't end with you. So it can't end with Elijah. So he went and got Elisha. When he saw he couldn't use Moses no more, he was like, Joshua, I need you. My goal and my heart is, I don't want there to be no plan B when we know that we plan A. God doesn't want that. But he also doesn't want the mission to remain incomplete. So my challenge to you is, go back to God and say, what's the care plan I need to put together so that I can complete and fulfill this mission and run the plays? Because you sent me here. You sent me on purpose, for my purpose. I do not want to have an incomplete on my report card. On Judgment Day, when you ask me, what did you do with what I gave you? I'm going to say, bruh, I ran the play. And look what we were able to do together. And when it got tough, I came back to you. You refueled me. You redirected me. You told me what to do. And I went ahead and I studied and I showed myself approved. And I went ahead and honed the skill that you told me. I went ahead and removed the friend that you said. I went ahead and put together, okay, this is the financial plan I need to put together for what God has commissioned for me to do. I went ahead and did that. And I went back on the field and I got the championship. Good job, thou faithful servant, is what we all should be aiming to do. Good job. Good job, thy faithful servant. I need you to get on your square. I need you to get on your post. I need you to learn the play. And after you learn the play, I need you to put a care plan together so that we can go ahead and attack this mission. Do you understand that? Let me tell you something. After this conversation, if you don't get off the phone and immediately get a book, something you need to write something down with, I'm cool with, writing stuff in your phone. No, you need a piece of paper, and a pen. No pencils. I hate the way they sound when you write. Piece of paper and pen. And I need you to get with God and say, these are the current things that I've been feeling that's been slowing down the vehicle of me establishing what you sent me for. I've been feeling this. I've been seeing that. My body has been doing A, B, and C. My finances have been blah, blah, blah. And whatever it is that you're seeing, this is starting to be too many hurdles in my race. I need you to go to God and say, okay, so this is what I see. And see how God starts to reveal to you the care plan for that. What do you need to shift in your diet? What do you need to shift in how you sleep? What do you need to go? Do you need to change your mattress? Do you need to change your pillow? Do you need to start exercising, but maybe start something slow, like just walk around the neighborhood, walk around a track? What do you need to do so that you can fulfill the mission? And then immediately put that into play. Don't let there be no delay in your response time. That's disobedience. Do you understand that? Well, I pray you do. Okay? I pray you do, because listen, I'm trying to get that good job. But if you ain't going to be a part of doing good on your job, then what we doing? What we doing? You're not stuck anywhere. God didn't just plop you somewhere and just forget. You're supposed to be fulfilling something. You're supposed to be learning something, and you're supposed to be getting the knowledge that's needed to run the play. What's the sense of doing all this off of the field if it doesn't convert to the actual championship? Nothing that you're doing, nowhere that you're at, no person that you currently know is just for happenstance. God is very strategic. He's very intentional, and you need to be aware of all of that. But you can't do it by yourself. And you need the Holy Spirit to literally lead, guide, and comfort, because that's his job as the advocate. So Jesus gave us the access to the Holy Spirit. Jesus gave us the access to have the relationship with God. And Jesus is the reason why all of this is even in play, because we wouldn't even have had this opportunity to be a soldier for God, to be any of this, to have any of this opportunity. This is all banking on the back of Jesus. So I dare not, you dare not, we dare not let Calvary go in vain. We win. Khaled didn't just make that up. We win. We were created to multiply. We were created to be his heirs of the kingdom. We were created in his image. How dare we just think that we were stuck or plotted somewhere and nothing good happens from that? So I pray that you hear the heart of God asking you, what are you doing here? In that emotional state, in that physical state, in the state that you're currently in, what are you doing here? I could see if it was any other grandbaby on the ops, the kingdom of darkness, it could be one of his grandbabies. But you, what are you doing here? So get with God. Take care of yourself, because you are the main ingredient in this mission. I know we like to think, oh, it's networking. We need to see if we can speak to such and such. And yes, we need people. But as we just seen with Elijah, all God really needs is you. That's why when he asked him the question, what are you doing here, Elijah? Notice he didn't ask him, where's your servant, the one that you left? Yeah, in Beersheba. Where's your servant? Wait, hold on. Where's the rest of the prophets that AB? God didn't ask Elijah about anybody else but him. What are you doing here? So that goes to show we are the main ingredient to this mission. So take care of yourself so we can run this play. Do you understand that? All right, listen. I feel like you got what you needed. Yep, because I could talk about this for hours. And I'm not. So, you know what these conversations are, right? They're life-provoking conversations. Conversations that not the average person's going to have with you, but who? Your favorite homegirl. Listen, we cannot do this without the help of other people, but we need to be healthy enough to run the mission that God sent us for. I pray that you grab that. I pray that that's your takeaway. And I pray that you sense that in everything that you do going forward. I just feel like I needed to hug you before we went. I will not stand in the way of evangelism, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and let me go, okay? We'll talk later. All right, later.